'cause I can't move on till I let go. The pain makes it real, I don't wanna feel, I just wanna kill the bad thoughts and steal a good thought and feel. I'm just lost to feel, I'm just lost to feel. I need time to heal, I can't steer the wheel, 'cause this ride we feel, and it gives me chills. A nice road it feels, I slip off the peel and crash all the steel. Will I ever heal? I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold, 'cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold, 'cause I can't move on till I let go. Swear I won't forget this, why do I regret this? In my mind reckless, thoughts are feeling endless. Sitting up I'm breathless, anxiety's infectious. I feel so defenseless, betrayed and embarrassed. I hate being open, I hate being broken. I feel like an ocean filled up with emotion. Anger ain't a potion, rub it on like lotion. I can feel it soaking, reopen, the scars have awoken. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold, 'cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold, 'cause I can't move on till I let go. The pain makes it real, I don't wanna feel, I just wanna kill the bad thoughts and steal a good thought and feel. I'm just lost to feel, I'm just lost to feel. I need time to heal, I can't steer the wheel, 'cause this ride we feel, and it gives me chills. A nice road it feels, I slip off the peel and crash all the steel. Will I ever heal? I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold, 'cause I can't move on till I let go. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath hold, 'cause I can't move on till I let go. Swear I won't forget this.
What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to... All right, we're going to just change it up. We're going to do Banter with Antor. Banter? Let's just banter with Antor. I have to figure out how I'm going to pronounce both of those. But welcome, everybody, to Banter with Antor. We're going to change some things around on the branding. And we're just going to pull the trigger on that one. This isn't the Overwatch 2 beta. And, that might have slipped my mind the last hour or so. Who has watched some of the beta? What are your thoughts? Give it to me. Give it to me straight. Give it to me straight. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? Anyone? I love how none of my top streamers are streaming Overwatch 2. That's probably not a good sign. You love it? Who's It looks like Overwatch 1. Is that bad to say? Should we just say that that's offensive? All right, sorry. I'm hurting people's feelings probably. Key drops were weird even for well-known Overwatch streamers. Okay. I mean, I don't follow much Overwatch streamers. A lot of my people that I follow are League streamers or even Escape from Tarkov streamers, and then just overall famous streamers, and none of them are playing Overwatch. That is probably a problem. Just a thought. It's also interesting that the tag on Twitch is just Overwatch. It's not Overwatch 2. That's interesting. Lyrics playing XQC. Okay, those are people I don't follow. Myth. All right, so there's some people. Courage got it before Super. Risa's fast. One of the most promising things I've heard was that it's not as MOBA-y. Okay. Is it more FPS-y? Is that kind of where it's heading? I have no idea. I didn't get a key, but it does genuinely look like a standard movement shooter versus a MOBA. Okay. Twitch drops tomorrow for it. Oh, snap. Okay. I think I signed up for the beta, but I honestly don't really remember. So we're just going to chalk that one up as way to go, Adam, and I don't even know what email is associated with that account. Oh, it's definitely that email. Yeah, I don't have anything from them. It's fine. I'm not expecting it. Old Overwatch was all about the 6v6 team fights. Now we're actually able to have individual impact and people die. Sure, it's scrappier, but it's more engaging to watch. Interesting. I'm interested to watch some of that. What I'm hopeful for is a resurgence of excitement around Overwatch. And hopefully we kind of get some more interest at the high school level to kind of grow it and play it. And hopefully that funnel of talent kind of finds its way up to the collegiate scene. That's really a question. Question for us, at least short term. Sweet. Well, besides Overwatch, what's everyone been up to? At this point, especially in NACE, there's only a couple teams left, so most of you guys are probably almost done. Is roasting Truman on the agenda today? Yes, kind of. I don't come in here to roast people usually, especially institutions. But I do want to call into question, as well as bring to the light of the rest of us, kind of my concerns and the concerns of the overall community, so that we are all kind of informed of why is Truman getting blasted on Collegiate Esports social, or Twitter, more specifically. And I think that's the important piece of this. It's not that Truman's terrible and will never be good. It's why are people actually mad about it? And then what can we do as directors to help with that? Appreciate the first time viewer though, first time chatter. We have a meeting on Thursday that I'm really excited about. So, yeah, NECC Rocket League semis tonight, which is fun. Nice. Good luck. Good luck, Verso. The squad over there. Doom Fist cannot play with the team and be okay. Not sure if that is good or not yet. Okay. All right. Overwatch 1 was just rock, paper, scissors at the end of the day. Funny. Nice. Squirtus says, happy to see an Iowa team win their first round in CLOL. There you go. CLOL round 1. Huge. It was a fun weekend. I'm really excited to continue. I had a pretty good fantasy bracket so far. Not the best. But I think I'm tied for 5th. I don't know if you guys all do the fantasy draft for CLOL, but Battlefy added notifications via email and Discord to make sure you fill it out, and that was my problem last year is I forgot to fill out everything after the first week. So excited about that. LCS weekend. Oh, who all went to LCS finals? Holy crap. If you went to LCS finals, put it in chat. How was it? Let us know. I did not go, unfortunately. I had a group of friends that did go. I just have so many events coming up. I just could not financially make it make sense. For me, I'll be at the National Esports. No, I'll be at the commission. No, what is it? Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup in Atlanta. It's that national championship run by CSMG. If you're going to that, let me know. And then I will be at DreamHack Dallas. And the beginning of June, I'll be one of their photographers, which I'm really excited about. LCS finals was great. Good. I've heard it was really exciting seeing like people who've been in the scene or like putting in a lot of time, especially on the collegiate side, but overall the esports scene kind of walk away and do a reflection on Twitter about how it like reignited a fire and it was refreshing, I think is one of the casters said. You were in Houston, but you didn't go. GG. Well, you missed out. So I don't know what to tell you. Kurt says we have NECC finals for challenger bracket on Friday. Should be hype. That sounds hype. Today's episode is going to be fairly short. We'll go until about 5:45 Eastern. I have our athletic department awards ceremony where we honor our seniors and our current athletes for what they did this year. Esports is invited and part of that because we're under athletics. So I need to change and not be late to that as a coach. So just a heads up on that. We won't be here all that long. I know Chu from SLU and maybe Clarky, they always end up, and some other people end up coming in at like 6 o'clock and they'll just come and realize that they missed the entire show. So, they missing out. See you in Dallas though. I'm there for IEM Dallas with Face It. Is that at the same time? Is it similar to that was how DreamHack Dallas was in 2018, right? 2019, where it was like it's a stadium next to the convention center. Or same event. Nice. I'm really excited. That was one of the first CS majors I took photos at. Although I don't know if it was a major back then. I don't remember. But awesome. Same event. I'm going to have to ping Moses on that, see if he'll be there because he would be, right? Actually, I'm going to message him right now. All right. Time out, folks. Oh, Paul Hype Man just messaged me and said, follow me back, you weasel. I'm sorry. Don't hurt me. Let me message Moses. I'm going to ask him because we were just talking about when we were going to meet up again, and it was going to be probably August when I'm back in Michigan, but yeah, that'd be sweet. They haven't done a major. Okay. I'm not sure if Jason is working it or not. Me neither. I'll message him though. I'm assuming he would. He worked the last Dallas one. But yeah, he messaged me. I don't even know. He was asking about something. At some point. Sweet. Come back to Michigan. Thank you. Yeah. Probably not. Although it's starting to get a little warm. It's 85 or 88 degrees today. It's a bit hot. I need a haircut. I keep pushing it off because I'm lazy. But yeah, if anyone else is going to DreamHack Dallas, let's meet up. Me and Koi will obviously be meeting up. I'm really excited because they basically they used to operate with a lot of volunteers with photography and video, and they would have like a team of 6 photographers and 6 videographers, and now they've actually changed it to pay those photographers and videographers, but they swapped it to like 2 photographers and then 2 videographers, and I'm one of the 2 that they accepted, and I am so stoked to be a part of it. So I will be down there working, basically taking photos of like all the sponsorship activations, and then maybe helping out the esports side. Slans will be there. Let's go. All right. Hell on pause. What up? CRL World Championships will be there at the same time too. So I'm sure I will be seeing a lot of collegiate people, and it'll be hype. It'll be really hype. I'm really excited about it. Yeah. So if you're going to Dallas, let me know. If you're going to the CECC National Championship in Atlanta, also let me know. I know Doc at Boise will be there. I don't know who else is going to be there, honestly. Should be fun though. All right. You guys want to talk about some latest job postings? Should we? I'll let my Truman person decide. Do you want to start with Truman, or do you want to start with a different school that I want to talk about? Squirt says might be bring up a land event in Cedar Rapids as I have a meeting with the tourism department. Let's go. Those tourism departments are getting really excited about esports. I worked with the West Michigan Sports Commission, obviously, when I was up there, and then Myrtle Beach flew me up like a month ago to see if Myrtle Beach was going to be a destination. You want me to start with Truman? Okay. Let's do that. Let's start with Truman. Let me pull up my screen here. All right. So Truman. Did you all see kind of the blasting of Truman? Thank you, Coach Claypool, for the follow. Appreciate you. But did you guys all see kind of the Truman stuff? A lot of it was like Clerky and Shipley, who's over at Maryville. I think Chu might have retweeted it. I retweeted it. But wanted to walk through this job description for you a little bit. Because a couple months ago, they asked me to come talk to them, answer some questions. I got on a call, ended up being like a whole like group of like 10 people staring at me. Some of them like deans of the college, like bigger wigs than I expected. I expected just the one person I was emailing to show up to the call. And had some conversation about esports. It seemed like they had a space kind of provided or laid out. They basically decided they wanted to get into esports. Sounded like my kind of thoughts on it were they wanted to activate current students that are in a club, but also find recruitment, a way to recruit new students to campus. I think just for some context on enrollment at Truman State University, because I think it's important, is like when I was a student there, we had about 6,000 students enrolled. And I feel like I was doing some research and they're at like 4,000 now. So you've seen a little bit of a drop in enrollment there, which is pretty similar to what we've seen across the Midwest at a lot of schools. But it looked like it was, whoa, dang, look at the Prime. Kyber, thank you so much for the Prime. Appreciate you. That's awesome. Yeah, so enrollment's way down. Amund here is, we haven't had our call yet, so I don't know totally your background, but I believe you're a senior, you said there, and looking to help them get the program off the ground this summer. You're also a volunteer head coach at Hannibal High School, which might be involved in MOSEF, the Missouri nonprofit. Yeah, so I got on that call. I told them, and I quoted this in a tweet at some point. I said something along the lines of, if you're looking to just hire someone at like 30 to 40,000 a year, it's not even worth doing. And from my perspective, it was, you're in one of the most competitive areas of the country. When it comes to collegiate esports, you have Maryville and SLU over in St. Louis. You have Mizzou and Columbia College down in Columbia, Missouri. And then you've got a plethora of other schools. Missouri Western is doing a lot of stuff. Missouri S&T has been looking at things. And then a number of other schools in Missouri have been entering the space in lower ways than others in terms of resources, but also like pretty significantly. I mean, you've got the University of Health Sciences in St. Louis, I believe is what it's called now. It used to be the College of Pharmacy. You've got UMSL, who's got a club going and some other conversations happening. You've got all sorts of stuff. So that was my premise, my thought process. Starting a new program and being my alma mater. So there's my asterisk, is that I went to Truman State University. That's where I got my undergrad. And I want something better for them. So that was my quote. When I told them that, you could tell that things kind of got a little awkward. I think they knew that they already had probably a range of a salary. And I didn't hear anything again from them, except I got an email like a couple of weeks later asking how coaches do tryouts, which I told them to hire a coach first so the coach can decide who should be on the team. But maybe I'm the crazy one. But I also sent them some information on like how I run tryouts because I'm nice. So they listed this position 4 days ago, called the title is Media Advisor and Esports Director within the School of Social and Cultural Studies. Knowing just kind of how this is structured, the school, this is going to be within the Department of Communication, which is an academic department. So if you're a comm major, this is the department you're in. You would report to the head of that department, Dr. Jay Self, who I know. He's the chair of the Department of Communication. But what's interesting and the problem I have with this, now they do list the salary, which I really appreciate. I'm glad they're putting that out there so that people know. They don't apply thinking this is a 50K position and it's not. There's a lot of uproar on the salary. My perspective is that yes, the salary is very low for a director position, but when you look at the average salaries across the country, from what I've been kind of gathering on my own, you could arrive at the idea that a 36K salary could arrive in the range of the average of what's currently out there. So my biggest qualm was not with the salary, although it's unfortunate because this does say that we're going to get someone with very little experience in collegiate esports, unless if they're just out of school and they like ran a college program or ran a club, which could be a possession or it could be a possibility. My biggest gripe was actually in the responsibility of the position. So it says here the successful candidate will primarily advise students working for the Student Managed Media Network and serve as the inaugural director of esports. So what you guys all should know on this is that Truman State University has student media department. They have a news TV station, they have a radio station, and then they have a newspaper, and then they have an online website that houses all of the news from those three. When I was a student there, that was very legit. We ran a tight ship. And at the time we had 4 separate faculty members who acted as an advisor to each of those. And from my experience, that the hours required to advise those was significant and a lot of night work. And my initial reaction and still reaction to this day on this whole job thing is that the idea that having one full-time person over student media, sure, that's fine. But the idea that you're going to add that to an esports position is baffling and just frankly unacceptable and not sustainable. From my perspective, like this is easily a 60 to 70 hour a week minimum. And a lot of these will cross over in terms of what times you're going to be working. So esports is very night heavy and evening heavy. And some of these, including like the newspaper deadlines and the show for the TV station, are in the evenings as well. That is my main concern, is the basically adding 2 full-time positions, putting them together, and then saying esports. From my perspective, just outside looking in, I'm assuming, like Coach Claypool is saying, it's because administration doesn't understand. I would agree with that. I told them, I sent a very long follow-up email about how this was a very bad problem. And in there, I said, it seems to be a lack of an understanding of what it takes to be an esports director. From my perspective on the outside, and my guess is what it looks like, is that they wanted a full-time position to manage these student media, and the way to get the resources to hire that full-time position or get that full-time position approved was to give them esports as an additional thing. Because then the school's like, oh, esports, that would be great. Let's hire this position. And to be fair, in my opinion, there's just not a lot of crossover. The possibility here is that it's a potential internal hire or a student who's about to graduate who has both communication experience and gaming / esports knowledge. And that's the play they're making. I have seen that before in a lot of positions that look weird like this, where it's like 2 full-time positions together. But I guess only time will tell if that's the case. Yeah, that's the concern with this. I sent a long email. Amund, who's a senior there, says I sent the same email last week. The response I got back was literally one sentence that said, I'll forward this to the person in charge of financials or the ability to give a larger salary. I was like, well, that doesn't really solve my problems. Like a small paragraph with the salary, and then the 4 other paragraphs were the job description. But all right. Kyber says it's bad enough that they're tying in media and esports, but to do that with the esports position being the first director is very confusing. I would agree with you. And it's interesting that it's being housed under the communication department. I think it just feels very forced to do that, in my opinion. I love Truman. I love my time there. And I want to make sure whoever's in this role or whoever takes this role is successful. It's just very difficult. And I told them in the email, like, looking at this job description, especially with the salary you currently have, it's very likely this person, if they even last 2 years, will be gone after 2 years and completely burn out. This is just from my experience and seeing what happens or what has happened the last couple of years in collegiate and what happens after about 2 years. This is the problem there. It's not the worst job description and job in collegiate esports, but it's pretty bad. Like, the job description, in my opinion, is one of the worst I've read. The salary is not the worst. The potential, I think, is not the worst, but the lumping of all this is pretty cringe. I couldn't, Hell on Pause says, I couldn't imagine that along with recruiting. My goodness. I agree. Curtis says, I'm only making 40K, but I'm just esports low lucky. My sugar mama of a wife makes good money. Hey, I feel that. I'm with you. Heck yeah. This is, Claypool says, this is where I'm at now. I'm just now being able to recruit while we were in postseason at this point. Yep. Kyber says, do you think they'll listen though, or wait for the program to fail? I don't think they'll listen. I think they'll wait until, I don't even know if the program will fail, but I don't believe it's going to hit the same return on investment that they're expecting out of esports. I think realistically, if someone were to come in here, either the student media kind of continues to fall, or kind of gets pushed to the wayside, and this person is only like answering emergency problems with these. Or the other end, esports is just going to be a glorified student club with a space on campus, with very little coaching, very little support from a financial standpoint. And both of those, I think, is a disservice to the current student body. So I have not had many experiences where a school gets an email from an outside person, even an alumni, well, especially an alumni, in my opinion, that they're like, oh yeah, you're probably right. Let's reevaluate. That's just, maybe there's an instance where they go through an interview process and they offer to one person, they decline because it's outrageous. Another person declines because it's outrageous. And then they have to redo everything. Maybe at that point they listen and come back to the table, but I just don't see that happening. I don't think they're going to listen and change things. So Godspeed to whoever gets this job. But I will be as much of a resource as I can to that person, because I am kind of personally invested. K-Bot, you've heard that story before of two different people declining a position. It's actually kind of common. I mean, we've seen it at Ohio State. We've seen it at Central Michigan University, and I don't think those will be the only two ever. I think it helps when the position's salary is listed, and most of this is up front, but still. And you have to move to Kirksville, Missouri, which is the middle of nowhere. So just some things to think about. Squirt says, yeah, my wife is a nurse at a university hospital, also just got a promotion. Nice. Congratulations to her. My wife does web design work. I feel that. Helen Pause says, we need to make a meme of college esports leaders having successful significant others. It's probably a more common occurrence than we might think, especially with like us older folks. Like a kid right out of college, or like an adult right out of college can kind of get by on some of these salaries, especially if they're like living at home or living with roommates. But when you get to like 28, 30, you start thinking about kids or buying a house, like there's no way you can support this as or you can use Collegiate Esports at this point as like a main breadwinner opportunity. But if you can, more power to you, I guess. Koi says, everyone out here with wives, I just work for second esports job and solo it. Nice. I just tell my landlord that rent is coming soon. Nice. Wonderful. At 25, it's still rough for me. Sure. For sure. Yeah, absolutely. General manager of a hotel and makes bank. There you go. Shoot. 3 times what you make. There you go. Not surprisingly, she's not very happy about me working on my side hustle till 2 a.m. Probably not. All right, so the other position that I want to talk about is Michigan State. So Michigan State just posted this. Does it say when? Advertise on the 21st. So this has actually been out for 5 days. This is going to be one that some of you guys might be interested in applying for. Unfortunately, this one does not list a job or a salary, which is my biggest gripe with it. But if you did some research on current pay for some of these positions in terms of like, this says specialist, you might be able to come up with a range or a guesstimate in here. Usually sometimes with these public universities, they'd put like a pay grade, but here it just says salary commensurate with experience, which is interesting to see from a big public university. Yes, esports up here. Where is it? Director of esports. This is where HR filled something in. Problem there. But if you look in the job description, that was probably written by the people overseeing this person. They do it right. So no need to cringe too bad. So Michigan State. All right. So director of esports. This is an interesting job title. some of these D1 schools that come out with job listings, some of them are like really cringe and I'm not excited about. Oftentimes they're under like rec sports and you have other jobs or whatever. Kind of cringe in my opinion how they're going about it. But other times some of these D1s showcase what I would like to see out of the D1s long term. And this is one of those titles that has, or this one of the job descriptions that has the possibility to be one of those job positions that kind of shows D1s how to do esports long term. And that has me really excited about this job being posted. Disclaimer, I will not be applying for this job. If I ever worked at Michigan State, my family would disown me. And I hate the Spartans, so go blue. Sorry. Although I did interview at Ohio State, and that would be that's kind of worse. So I don't know, but no interest now. So and that might be a part of it. Is I don't want to leave Florida. It's nice right now. All right, so let's look at this job description. I just want to kind of look over a couple things that interest me when I look at some of these job descriptions. We all, especially if you're in collegiate esports now as a director, you've seen a job description because you applied for one, or you've just seen them. A lot of them, especially at smaller schools, are very much similar in their requirements, very competitive focused in the job description and very focused on recruitment, following the rules of NACE or other leagues. For some reason, they all use NACE. But this one's different. And I'll just kind of draw upon the fact that Arizona's position was another one that got me really excited because it was the first one that I saw that at a D1 that mentioned recruitment and being competitive, which was really cool to see after seeing so many rec sports ones. This Michigan State one, I think, is the next step. So hopefully that set the tone for some really exciting thing here. Actually, PPOP. That's a really good question. Let me answer that really quick for you. His question is, or their question is, question for people looking for director jobs. Where should they be looking and where do you find these? A couple places that I start with is go on Google and go to Google Jobs. Just search Google Jobs. You can actually set up job alerts from Google using specific words, locations, etc. I have an esports one job alert that anytime a job that's posted that has esports within it gets posted, I'll get an email once a day with all those jobs. Anywhere in the US is that one. Another one that I have set up that's an alert is on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has the same thing. So on LinkedIn, I went into the jobs and I have a bunch of different alerts that will send me an email once a day with any job. So I have like esports is one. I have gaming as another one. Those are set up. The Michigan State job, actually the Truman job I was sent to from someone. And then the Michigan State one was posted in the Michigan Varsity Coaches channel today. So NACE has a job posting place. I think NECC probably has a job posting channel. NACAT has a job posting channel. And I think the key is just to kind of be active in as many as you can. Some of those will be present, or some of the ones will catch some of these jobs, some others won't. But those are good places to start. Would be my advice there. All right, so let's talk about this Michigan State position. What up, Noah? You're here for the esports. You're not late. Well, you are late. We have about like 10 minutes before I have to end, so let's keep it rolling. Position. All right, so entrepreneurial director of esports, outreach specialist. This is interesting. You can kind of think about this through your own lens, but what's really cool about this position, what this is saying is that like, hey, we want someone out there shaking hands and making connections across campus and off campus, which is cool, to manage our growing portfolio of esports teams and groups and engage external audience in this area. All right, that's kind of cool. So we're not talking about like slave driving a director to coach 5 different game titles or more. We're talking about more of a manager of this. Position calls for a strategic planner who can execute without supervision while being able to collaborate and incorporate input. a good understanding of our academic programs related to esports, game design, sports journalism, digital storytelling, and of the esports industries is needed to effectively shape and manage the direction of the esports program. What this is telling me is screaming like, we want somebody to come in who knows or can learn, what we currently offer academically, what the esports industry needs, and how we can incorporate that together. And potentially, if you're reading between the lines, is like maybe explore the idea of an esports management minor or major, or sports or esports broadcasting, something along those lines in there, which is interesting. Currently, our esports program is student driven, consisting of 500 active students across the variety of one second. We coordinate a variety of popular titles. We coordinate activities and events. The Michigan State Club is really in depth and organized, from my understanding, or at least in the last couple of years, was really well put together. So I think this position is going to be much more of a collaborative position, bridging departments and groups rather than managing directly. So this job posting is not screaming, hey, you're going to be in charge of the esports program as a director, and you're going to start this competitive program. It's screaming more, come on campus and create relationships and see how we can make esports at Michigan State better, and what other opportunities might there be. Responsible for the daily operations and administrative oversight of the program, in support of all student activities and programming, including budget, personnel, risk management, team practice, and competitive activities. Maybe there is some opportunity here where you're scheduling practices, but most of the job description is not screaming that specifically. But it is a possibility. There's a little bit of like a parallel to some of what Ohio State's done in this. Gerg said, you coming to LA? Probably not. Although I've had a coach at one of the teams say if they made top 8, they might fly me out to LA for top 8. That I don't even know when it is. But the main reason I wouldn't be going is budget. So if that's covered, maybe I will. What up, Gerg, by the way? We party. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Supports broader esports initiatives on campus. Will primarily be primary responsibility for the esports lab. This is interesting. They do have a game design lab that the esports club has been using. I don't know if that's the same thing or if they're building a separate esports lab. Maybe somebody from MSU would be able to do that. You just found, Squirt says you just found one at St. Xavier University. It listed the working hours from 8:30 to 4:40 Monday through Friday. That's funny. Good luck with that. Major events, speaker series, experience with event planning and marketing. This position will work with coaches, advisors, also represent the program across campus. I mean, they just want somebody who's shaking hands and making connections. And also, a lot of this is like, it seems like we don't really know what this should look like, but here's all the things that could be under your repertoire or under your supervision. But what's really cool, I think, about this position is, from my perspective on the job description, obviously they could have this job description and then you get in the interview process and they're talking about like, hey, run practices for a varsity team, which would be totally different. But from this, it looks like a very overarching view of come in and tell us or help us explore what esports should look like at a big school. Where's the value going to be? Is it in being competitive? Is it in supporting our club scene? Is it in an academic program? I think they're kind of realizing, and they know that it's going to be a lot of things. Like, it's going to be hosting tournaments. It could be hosting speaker series is what it says here. It could be potentially the academic side. And I think that's where the esports industry at the college level is going to be probably in the next couple of years. And it's going to be there for a couple of years as a lot of these schools explore this this question. Like no one knows what it should look like long term. So yeah, provides an opportunity for students to get involved. Communication skills are essential. Candidates are expected to be familiar with the use of online content management systems and social media. We know Twitter. Fixed term. This is not necessarily concerning or surprising. Some of the other big schools that I've seen have been like 1 year contract positions where like in the job description it seems like it's a 1 year. It's not necessarily whatever it is, but I wouldn't be necessarily scared about this. If you come in and do a good job, they'll keep renewing it, and hopefully at some point it would be I guess I don't know what the other option is from a fixed term. It might also be what they use to describe a lot of their academic staff. I don't know. It's a question worth asking if you're in that interview process. Required to have a bachelor's, preferred to have a master's. This is pretty standard. When they talk about academic stuff, I'm a little surprised that they don't require the master's degree. That could mean that they're not necessarily looking for somebody to help teach or help create curriculum. More so just to be a consultant on the academic side in some of that. So interesting note there. Minimum requirements. I thought reading through it, basically, if you've been working at a college or high school for 1 year, in their esports team, you would be able to hit like all of these minimum requirements. Organization, gaming equipment, personnel with students, etc., advising, coaching students, volunteers, managing organizational budget. Like all of this is just like 1 year of working at a high school or college, which is fairly low, especially for a D1. So if you guys want to apply, I think they're accepting applications until May 9th. Someone told me, yep, May 9th. So you have like a week and a half, 2 weeks to put in your application there. Good luck. I think it's a cool opportunity. I would say that I've talked to at least 2 coaches about this position. I think we don't really know where salary is going to hit. It could be, I have a feeling like it could be like a 60 to 70. I've talked to other coach who thinks it wouldn't hit 60. It'd be below 60. The minimum requirements would point to below 60, but the job description itself, if they're truly, this is what they want it to look like, could be like a 70 plus job in my opinion. Helen Paul says, I wonder what MSU's employee tuition benefit is. I bet it's pretty good. My guess is you could get your master's for free, and that could be a really good potential opportunity for someone. But with this position, I'm assuming what they're going to want, what they're really going to be looking for is someone who can present themselves well to faculty and staff and as well as students. So somebody who might just be coming out of undergrad and doesn't have a lot of leadership experience or doesn't present themselves professionally in whatever way that they deem necessary might have some problems through the interview process on this. But it is a really interesting position, as Joe says. I appreciate, or I agree with that. It's really interesting, and I think it's a shift from what we've seen at like Michigan and some other bigger schools on their positions when it comes to like director of esports is under Rec Life, and a lot of their stuff is like intramurals, oversee the club program. This seems to be moving more towards a overarching view of what esports could be. It'll be interesting to see who gets hired and then to find out a little bit more of what their responsibilities look like year one. But this type of job description does get me excited and keeps me excited about esports in collegiate. Kyber says 70K would be almost 40K more than what I'm at now. Yeah. There's some. I mean, a lot of those positions, like I said, with the Truman position, is like 35 could very well, in your research, you could find is pretty close to an average. And from my spreadsheet that I have, it's with kind of an ongoing thing. I feel that same way. But with these D1 schools, they have a little bit more money to spend, especially in some of these departments. It just depends on their vision for it and what you can kind of negotiate as well. Because I mean, I'll tell you right now, like the applicant pools for a lot of these jobs are pretty bad. Like, so just be aware of that. Yeah. I did create a new community Discord that you guys are all more than welcome to join. And I'm just gonna plug it once and then I'll be done. But I wanted you guys. Oh no. I wanted you guys to have a place that is not owned by like a for-profit in the industry or another league, a place for you guys to collaborate, ask questions, and we can talk about stuff. And that's what I made. So I've got a new Discord. If you want to join, you can. If you don't, that's fine. I put some of the resources from my past videos in there as well. Feel free to use those as you kind of navigate Collegiate Esports. Invite whoever you want. It's hopefully just a place for people to collaborate. There hasn't been a good active place for that, and hopefully with me doing these weekly shows that it will be a place where you can do that. All right, so those are the two positions I wanted to look at. Let's not do duo. There we go. Okay. I don't have any other positions that I wanted to look at. I'm trying to think. Overall thoughts on the industry, I did throw that kind of in here, although we don't have a ton of time to talk about. I just wanted to kind of put out like just a general positive vibe. I've been feeling really excited about what we've started to see in Collegiate Esports, in a lot of things, like a lot of things. And just following Twitter of my Twitter, as well as Twitters of other quote unquote leaders in the space, or even other directors, you could probably arrive at a conclusion that you think everything is terrible and going down the drain and everything's on fire, and super negative, but that's just not the case. A lot of us are just hypercritical of some of the things that we think need to be changed for us to continue growing. But overall, I think things have been really good, and I think we're getting towards, or we're moving towards a positive place. Yeah, K-Bot, everything's not on fire. Could have sworn it was. There are some schools, some programs in questionable places that they're working on stuff, but overall, I think it's really cool where we're at and where we're heading. I think what was really cool is watching, just from like in the LCS perspective this past weekend, is like the return to these in-person events. I think is really exciting for everyone. Everything is on fire here. Well, that's not good. Get that figured out. If you guys have any questions or want to throw ideas off of someone, vent to someone, like, I'm more than willing to listen. Other people are usually more than willing to listen. It's kind of the time of the year where students and coaches feel very burned out. And this happens both semesters. So please keep a note on where your mental is, and get a break, take a vacation, whatever you need to do to get ready for the fall. Cause this summer is going to be a good time to recharge, get some new thoughts out, finish some last minute recruiting, and prepare for the fall. But yeah, always ask for help. Yeah. Facts. But overall, I think it's good. We're going in the right direction. I've been really excited. You stay ranting in Antor's DMs. Hey, you keep ranting. I got a couple people who keep ranting and I love it. It's fine. I will listen, or I will give you pointers if that's what you want. Joe says, slowly moving in the right direction as more collegiate professionals are speaking up and providing more information regarding their positions. Yeah. I think a really important step here is just to keep sharing information. As long as you're willing to share that, I think For a long time when I first started, it was a lot of like cryptic tweets from leaders in the space about how bad everything is and how bad the industry was doing and where we're heading is so bad, but never provided the context or the advice on how to get better. And I think we're doing a better job at that. And that's really exciting for me. But yeah, we need more leaders in the space too. Like it's we just need more people. We need more people in the space. We need more passionate people. We need more talented people. Because I think that's one of the biggest opportunities I think we have. All right. Kyber says, in the corporate side too, I'm seeing more people trying to get involved and share their experiences on what you could consider the other side of the fence. Fair. True. There's a lot of open discussion about culture, pay, what is wrong with the industry, both on the esports gaming and collegiate scholastic side. And I think that's really positive, I would say. We need people to be paid better so they stop leaving collegiate. That is true facts. Corporate isn't that great pay either. That's fair. And yeah, that's fair. I mean, there's a lot of people in esports that are not paid very well, both on the non-school side and the school side. But there's been a positive thing. Clerky's tweet last night killed me. Which tweet was that? Which one? I'm curious. The Mars one? Oh, yeah. 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 I think the unfortunate part in some of this is that, like, these schools, someone will take that job. Someone will get that job. They'll take that job. And they'll probably do fantastic or do good enough. The school won't even notice, like, that person getting burned out and the amount of hours they put in. And it just kind of, like, continues the cycle in some of those schools. But in other schools, that person burns out, they leave, and then that school can't find a replacement because the applicant pools just aren't where they need to be, and the talent just isn't where they need to be. And in that instance, some of those schools do up that the salary offering. Yeah, it's true. It's true in a lot of regards. All right. I said short stream today, so we're going to get out of here before Chew gets in here and tries to hold me hostage. I have to go to the athletic banquet we have that starts in like 20 minutes on campus to honor some seniors. So thank you everybody for stopping by. I appreciate all of you. I'm going to have a special guest interview or on the show next week. Keep an eye out on my Twitter. I'll probably announce that next Monday. I'm really excited about it. Have a good rest of the week. Finish up anything you need to finish up before the students are gone. And we'll be back next week. Thanks, everyone. Y'all are amazing. Peace.